The starter template comes with support for 6 languages: English, Chinese, Spanish, Italian, French, and Arabic. You can view the data files for the languages in the src i18n locales folder. The default language of the template is English. However, you may add additional languages to the template. In this video, we'll show you how to set the default language and how to add your own language. To change the default language, we need to find the context configuration object. Open up the CRA starter template and navigate to src, Jumbo, Components, Context Provider, App Context Provider, Default Context.js. The default context.js file exports a default LNG property that has the language property defining our default language for the application. Notice there are a few values that are placed into this default language property. To get the values of a new language, we need to go into src at Jumbo, Components, App Layout, Partials, Language Switcher, and then data.js. This file gives us the values that we need to provide to the default LNG property. Let's copy the values for Chinese. We'll go back into default context.js and then replace the English properties with the Chinese properties. Next, let's save the application. The default language for our application is now Chinese. Next, let's add a new language. First, we need to create a locale. In the src i18n/locales folder, let's create the file ru_RU.json. We'll be adding the Russian language for this example. To get this file started, we can copy all the content from the English JSON file and paste it into the Russian JSON file. Let's go into en_US.json and copy all that code. Then let's go back into our new file and paste all of those properties and values. This step gives us all of the labels, messages, variables, and more that we can replace with our Russian translation. Let's save the file. Now we can create the i18 context. Let's go into src i18n/entry. In this folder, we need to create the file ru_RU.js. We need this file to import the React International's local data and our own local data. Again, let's use the English template to help us set up our new Russian template. In en-us.js, copy the code and paste it into the ru_RU.js file. Instead of importing the English messages, we need to import the Russian messages. At the top of the file, change en messages to ru messages and import the new ru JSON file that we created in the previous step. Instead of en-lang, we're going to export ru-lang and then adjust some of the other variables. Finally, we need to change the locale string to ru. Now we can save the file. In the next step, we're going to add our new locale to the app locale object. Open the file src i18n/index.js. In this file, we need to import our Russian entry and add it to the app locale object. At the bottom of app locale, let's add the ru property with the ru-lang import that we just added. Next, let's save the file. Finally, we need to add a language object to the language switcher folder. Let's go into src, @jumbo, components, app layout, partials, and then language switcher. In the data.js file, let's add a new entry. This is for the Russian language and was copied from the documentation page. Next, let's save the file. Let's go back to the default context file that is found at source, jumbo, components, context provider, app context provider, default context.js. Let's paste the Russian language object that we just copied from the documentation and paste it into the data.js file. Let's save this file. Notice that our app is now back in English, although we've switched it to the Russian settings. This is because back in our ru_ru.json file, we pasted the English settings. To change the values to the Russian language, we need to replace these English values with the Russian values that correspond to their meaning. For example, let's change the value of pages.samplepage from the sample page to a Russian language value. Let's replace the English sample page with this Russian language value, and then save the file. This has now updated the sample page value to the Russian value that we pasted in for this language. In this way, you can add new languages to the template.